There's one thing I find baffling about some people these days. You keep on asking, why is Gamergate still a thing? It should have died years ago. Well, because guess what? You brought it up constantly. And I mean constantly. If, meanwhile, you follow up the Gamergate problems a few years ago, and solve those message boards developed into the newly women-led Ghostbusters movie, if we took Gamergate scandals such as Pizzagate, which several high-profile women in the gaming industry linked to the genesis of Gamergate, the campaign centered around harassing women in the video game industry and right-leaning politics. The bot is programmed to respond to all the main prototypes, most notably Brianna Wu, a game bro who argued with alt-writers, Gamergaters, MRAs, even in forums and Gamergaters, there wasn't a talk about the journey, and the forum is pointing to the origin of Gamergate, the controversial movement that views female gamers as ruining. Do you see the problem now? We have a name for those free shoutouts that you give to us. It's called GAMEDROP. You do this a lot. After 2 years, surprisingly. You wonder why Gamergate is still a thing? You keep on bringing it up. Constantly. You just made it a problem to yourself.
Do you have any sevens?
It's been proven that Gamergate is a movement to fight for journalistic ethics. It's been proven and well documented. If you just take a minute to just browse in through Deepfreeze and read the excellent articles, the reason why you keep on bringing Gamergate up is because it's a threat to you. It's a threat to the establishment. It's a threat to the status quo. It's a threat to corruption, something that you love to ingrain yourself at. And here we have this stupid little comic supposedly referencing Gamergate. Just read through it. Just read it. What a massive straw man. Just look at this panel over here. This guy seriously believed that about 70,000 plus people at Kotaku in Action are actually going out to feminists and create this blueprint that we need to harass feminists and women in the video game industry, guys. Where to even begin with this one? First, feminist critique. You know, like this.
In Batman Arkham City, for instance, the player's gaze is drawn to Catwoman's behind, which is emphasized by her costume and exaggerated hip sway. For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs. This emphasis on the butts of male characters communicates to players that this is what's important. This is what you should be paying attention to. It communicates that the character is a sexual object designed for players to look at and enjoy.
And I love this. When people brought up the fact that you're lying, you blocked them. You're a pussy. You're a massive freaking pussy. You're such an ignorant scum who thinks that the world around him is a living bubble. And now we're getting to our main article for today. This is given by a well-known conspiracy theorist, Rob Fahey. Rob Fahey. Rob Fahey is the type of person who gives in bizarre conspiracy theories that people at Steam are organizing this horrible, horrendous brigade to drive indie game developers out of gaming. He genuinely believes that gamers actually conspire to write negative reviews to game developers and not because, oh, I don't know, the game is bad. I did a 3-parter video on this monstrously stupid debacle, and trust me when I say that it was really conspiratorial, really tinfoil, without any sorts of substantial evidence. And now, he brings in another mad tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. Let's just read the title. The Sin of Mainstream Video Games, Games and Politics in 2016. The movers behind this year's resurgence of fascism cut their teeth radicalizing young men in video game communities. Fascism and radicalizing young men. You think that video games cause people to turn to ISIS or something? Jesus Christ. Even Pizzagate sounds less conspiratorial than this. The following article is part of the series of daily year-end content on Games Industry Biz, analyzing the most notable news and trends we observed over the last 12 months. No. The following article is a part of a series of GameIndustry.biz having someone acting like an insane mental patient. Keep politics out of my games was a snappy rallying cry, but it was never an option. The intertwining of our medium with politics far predates the gruesome hatred of Gamergate or weasel-worded hand-wringing over identity politics. Oh my god, this is absolute deja vu. You use the term weasel word. I don't think you know what that means. I think I should just show my last video of how you do weasel words. 1. Weasel word. Words that create an impression that a specific and or meaningful statement has been made when only a vague or ambiguous claim has been communicated, enabling the specific meaning to be denied if the statement is challenged, as in all too often challenged with the question, how often? Since the very earliest year of its existence, the games industry, its creatives, and its consumers have been impacted by and involved with the broader movement of political society, from the economic conditions and the policies that drive broad consumer trends, to the opening up of new markets like China and Eastern Europe, through the censorship debates which raged through the 1990s and 2000s. Politics have always been closely connected to video games. So your justification on shoving politics in video games is because it's always been a part of it. That's like saying my tumor has always been a part of my body, so it would be a good idea to grow it even more.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
What's been somewhat different in recent years is that the influence has started flowing in both ways. At least to some degree. The massive growth of video games' audience has turned them into a mainstream part of culture comparable with, if not yet equivalent to, film and television. Game consumers, especially core game consumers, are connected to communities of shared interests to a far greater degree than movies or TV consumers tend to be, which gives them the capacity to organize and to influence. While publishers and their representative bodies continue the ordinarily political lobbying and media relations work that's common to any such industry, their consumers have been slowly feeling out of the limits of their own collective power. This person genuinely thinks that consumers are one single hive mind being mind controlled by someone in a freaking cerebro or something. Do you see why I consider this guy as a mad tinfoil hatter? Also, way to get off of topic, Jesus Christ. Sometimes the outcomes have been wonderful. Video game consumers acting collectively have backed tremendously worthy charities, supported game creators and one another when hard times struck, and through crowdfunding have taken the lead in establishing systems of patronage for the work of talented creators. These positive outcomes only make the negative outcomes feel all the more depressing, considering the harassment, the bigotry, the outright dishonesty, and the malign stupidity of something like Gamergate, and how grossly large it and its progeny loom over the community landscape of video games. The positive stories feel like the dispatches from a brighter, better future that we might have had if we hadn't screwed it all up. Jesus Christ. It's been 2 years. The only reason why you don't accept the fact that Gamergate is not a movement to harass women out of gaming is because you're ignorant. There are hard evidence, direct evidences. Even after all of those well-documented evidences being shown into you, you're gonna take the effort to shield yourself from it. Why? Can I ask the simple question, why? If the alternative is closer to reality, why you chose to deny it?
You're running away from the truth because it's ugly?
Why not? What's wrong with running away from reality if it sucks?
Every time this year that you read about how political discourse has become post-truth, about fake news flooding the internet, and the worrying degree to which people seem unable to judge the reliability of their sources, remember that it started in our communities with game consumers. Post-truth. This is the Oxford English Dictionary Word of the Year, basically referring to a time in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. People choosing over emotions than facts are absolutely nothing new. There's nothing post about it. And judging through the tweets that they cited on their page, I think Oxford is just butthurt that Trump won. And speaking of truth, if we are living in a world where appeal to emotion is better and more influential than objective truth, do you know the kinds of people who made it stronger? Do you know the kinds of people who perpetuate this notion? People who spread fake news, like the fake news that Gamergate is a movement to drive women out of gaming. People like Rob Fahey. I think I know why you want to deny reality, Rob. You want to defend your friends. You want to defend people who are being harassed, which, if being translated into actual human language, means getting criticized for being corrupt. Do you see why I don't lie on the internet? Do you see why I gain absolutely nothing from lying on the internet? Because people can see through it in an instant. And by the time they do, I lose their trust. Trust is something that is hard to get. And if I lose it, it's like losing my own family. You don't treat your audiences like family. You treat them like garbage and compare them to ISIS. And here you are wondering why you're getting harassed. Seriously.
If you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Gamergate didn't invent online mobs, and it certainly didn't invent the resurgence of fascism, but it was the proof of concept of her turning things into tools of a mainstream political campaign. Gamergate took the disaffected, bored youths, primarily white, male, straight, and harboring discomfort with social progress and its impact on the personal social standing, and it radicalized them. It fed them a diet of dishonesty, reinforcing the importance and closeness of their community, and then lying to them about malicious conspiracies designed to destroy that community. You are a distasteful, whiny, ungrateful, immature nutjob. You can't admit your own mistakes. People inside Gamergate have done nothing but expose your blatant lies and corruption. You come in here and throw kindergarten insults because you have no argument left, do you? You have nothing left to say. You have absolutely nothing left in your mind. Good. You indirectly admitted that you lost.
You're here, so you fail by default.
This is how radicalization works. It is how it is for Islamic jihadists. It's how it works for the IRA. It's how it worked in Japan and Germany in the 1930s. Tell men, especially young men, who are so often isolated that they're part of a big, important community. Then tell them that their community is under attack. Once it worked for Gamergate, it didn't take a genius to realize that it could work for a far broader group. I have absolutely no idea why this person is qualified to write an article in a publication like GameIndustry.biz. This person is not only spouting fake news, but a terribly blatant conspiracy theory of how Gamergate is literally ISIS. Name me one person in Gamergate that hangs people and throws people off of buildings. Name me one person in Gamergate who assaults the headquarters of journalistic outlets that they don't like. Name me one person who bombs the airport of my childhood hero. Name me one person who thinks that mass shooting gay people is acceptable. Seriously, name me one person from Gamergate. Please. You can't. Because you're overgeneralizing. You're only telling your arguments instead of showing it. You're putting a blanket statement overgeneralizing Gamergate as literally ISIS. Salon doesn't even limit itself to Gamergate. It just went on to call all gamers are ISIS. Do you know why we kept on growing and growing and growing in numbers? Because we have better arguments. You have kindergarten insults. You are losing, and now you are crying because you lost. Boo! Hoo!
Now this is the plan. Get your ass to Moss.
It's common to criticize the games industry for not doing more to combat Gamergate, and you have done nothing to combat Gamergate. Absolutely nothing. You can only throw playground insults. They make you look like a 5-year-old. The only way for you to combat Gamergate is if you own up to your own mistakes, admit that you're corrupt, and prove Gamergate wrong that game journalists are corrupt. The only way for you to defeat Gamergate is if you actually strive for better game journalism, because in that way, you can come into their faces and go, see, we're not corrupt. And yet, you still keep on being corrupt because it benefits you. But at the same time, you want to combat Gamergate. Do you actually want to combat Gamergate or do you not?
Here's a good idea. Have a point.
It's not very original to poke fun at the people who shouted, "Get politics out of my games!" before going back to don the virtual boots of a heavily armored white US soldier shooting wave after wave of nondescript brown people in a dusty, bombed-out Middle Eastern village. But the failure to recognize that a blind acceptance of the status quo is every bit as political as a challenge that the same status quo isn't the only problem here. Are you saying that we're hypocritical for saying keep politics out of our games because people play Call of Duty? Have you seen the recent Call of Duty game? It's a goddamn futuristic space sci-fi garbage. You're gonna bash people who play Call of Duty? Good for you. But people don't just play Call of Duty, you freaking dimwit.
have no idea what you're talking about, but it's evident that your fantasies are completely incoherent.
As gamers become bigger, more important, and more influential medium year on year, it continued to pump out games like that, games that powerfully reinforce negative stereotypes of non-whites, especially Arabic people, that reduce the majority of their female characters to male fantasy objects, and that erase the existence of other minorities almost entirely, or introduce them merely to be butt of the outdated punchlines. More non-whites, more women, defend them all! Within the sound. You're such a magnificently pathetic white knight that you have to defend people solely based on the color of their goddamn skin and the junks between their goddamn legs. You are a very sad man, Nutjob Rob. What will you gain defending these identities in fiction?
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
I can tell you what you get. You're gonna get nothing. Nothing from us. You're gonna get distaste. You're gonna get contempt. You're gonna get shamed by most people who actually look at you and say, Jesus Christ, is this man actually real? But look at the bright side. You're gonna get respect from your friends. Your friends among the rich, privileged kids off of Moral Bay Area who are so completely out of touch with reality. You are sad. You are so sad, Nutjob Rob. And I'm not even sure if you're aware of it. Not all games, of course, but plenty, representing a majority of the industry's sales. Is it any surprise that people uncomfortable with that progress found themselves coalescing around games, around a medium that quietly by omission, rather than commission, told them that their discomfort was okay? Is it any surprise that they were easy to coax to fury, to harassment, and to aggression directed at people trying to make that medium more open, more representative? So, not only you're saying that Gamergate is being radicalized to be ISIS members, but you can also say that Call of Duty makes people to be radicalized into ISIS members. Good lord, you are a nut job. The endless waves of games which painted the world in black and white. Endless waves of games which painted the world black and white. Fallout New Vegas, Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect, Spec Ops The Line, Deus Ex Series, Command & Conquer, Star Wars KOTOR, The Warriors games, The Last of Us, The Walking Dead. You know what? I'm done mentioning gray area games. These people are stuck in a goddamn cave.
You disloyal, fool-ass, bitch-made punk.
Games can do better. They must do better. Games have power that no other medium can match. They can connect us, transport us together into new worlds, let us experience different ways of living and take part in grand events from many perspectives. They can teach us about subjectivity and diversity and perspectives beyond our own. I'm starting to really hate the term diversity. You have butchered that name for me right now. Do you know why I hate using that term so much? Or you using that term so much? Diversity is like using a bunch of colorful sheets of blank origami papers as a CV. It's colorful, but it's blank. There's no content in there. Give me papers that actually have stuff in there to read, rather than colorful papers with nothing to read on it. And you're here giving to me how papers in books should have more color than white? I don't give a damn. I want my books papers to have something in it. I don't care if you print it white, yellow, black, purple, have something for me to read. You're here literally saying that the color of the paper is more important than what's actually being written in the paper. Go screw yourself.
You are a worthless street rat.
Yet this possibility, when it is fulfilled at all, is almost always left to the indie titles that struggle for attention in the shade of blockbusters that rumble along, lobotomize, their default set to white male, and their voices saying nothing other than might is right and different is wrong. Of course you're gonna say indie titles are more progressive. You want social progress, not gaming industry progress. If that's the case, go to Fox News or CNN or somewhere else. Stop going into video games.
Donald Trump Jr., for example, he put this image on his Instagram account. It's a meme of Pepe. And for those of you who don't know, Pepe is a white nationalist symbol. White nationalist symbol. White
nationalist symbol.
The games industry needs to take positive steps to make sure that it's never again used as an incubator for hate and fascism. It could be started by properly managing its communities, effectively protesting female and minority employees, engaging positively with minority groups over issues of representation. Stop. I don't care what you're gonna say at that point. You lost. You want community to be managed and protected, and you want to protect people based on the color of their skin and the junks between their legs? And I love the fact that this entire article is nothing but whining. This person complains about a problem and provides a very vague solution in the end. Communities should be better managed. How? How should they be better managed? By more censorship? Is that what you want? Games industry need to take positive steps. What positive steps? How to combat these hatred and fascism? You don't know. You absolutely don't know, because you're not the kinds of people who would give solution. You don't care about the real problems that we have in the industry. You just want to whine. You are an ignorant parasite. You are a parasite who cried wolf that a parasite is infecting the video game industry. You are the ones inciting the hatred and the fascism. You said all of this. You said all gamers are freaking ISIS, Nazi. If you cannot see how doing all of those is bringing hate into the gaming industry, you're a moron. You are a dangerous moron. You're trying to fight monsters when there is absolutely none. In the process, you've managed to become a monster for everybody else. You're a totalitarian with a blank slate of mind who will do anything and everything for anything and everything, or even nothing at all. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want to do to get what you want. I don't know why you want to get what you want. Just absolutely distasteful. Absolutely distasteful. It's all I can say. This article is distasteful. It stinks. Go screw yourself. This article is so distasteful. Thankfully, there are things that can counter the amount of distaste being caused by this article. For example, Patreon. Thanks for the pledge, Snake0805. You're absolutely fantastic. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more if you wish. You can support my Patreon. And thanks for watching.